Take a look at what happened.
Tonight on Action News, the nation is in shock after an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The 20-year-old shooter and a bystander are dead in the gunfire. And local lawmakers and leaders are condemning the political violence on Donald Trump, the reaction from both sides of the aisle.
And thunderstorms are still possible for portions of the valley, increasing our risk for fire. How long this elevated fire danger could last.
And the Fresno County Sheriff's Office is taking action to help keep people safe out on the water. The life jacket donations handed out today, live at 11, starts now.
ABC 30 Action News starts now with breaking news.
Former President Donald Trump was injured after an assassination attempt at his rally in Pennsylvania. Trump was swarmed by Secret Service agents and rushed off the stage after being grazed by a bullet. Trump was in the middle of delivering his rally speech, turned toward the right, grabbing the ear which was hit as the sound of multiple gunshots suddenly rang out. The shooter is dead after firing from a roof near the rally site, which officials say was outside the security perimeter. The FBI has identified that gunman as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. An attendee was killed by the gunfire and 2 others were critically injured. Good evening and thank you for joining us for Action News Live at 11. I'm Alec Nolan in for Nick Garcia. Former President Trump has said he is fine and safe after the terrifying shooting. ABC's Perry Russum is following the developing details on this assassination attempt.
Former President Trump arriving in New Jersey, walking down the stairs of his plane hours after what the FBI is calling an assassination attempt. The Secret Service says a shooter fired multiple shots toward the stage from an elevated position outside the rally venue in Butler County, Pennsylvania, north of Pittsburgh. The Secret Service says their team neutralized the shooter, who is now dead. Officials holding a briefing hours after the shooting.
This evening we had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump. And at this time, we are not prepared to identify who the shooter is.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News the shooter fired as many as 8 rounds using an AR-style rifle from a rooftop 200 to 300 yards away. Tonight, Trump releasing a statement that reads in part, "I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin."
First you think like maybe firecrackers, but it continued, and then somebody yelled, "Get down." We got down, and we huddled and we started praying.
The shooting happening minutes into Trump's rally. Trump on stage reaching for his right ear, then apparently ducking behind the podium. Secret Service agents rushing the former president. Moments later, Trump taken to his feet with blood on his right ear. Trump waving a fist in the air as he's led off the stage surrounded by Secret Service agents. This is happening ahead of a major week for Trump, the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
The attack on the former president is sending shockwaves across the globe, and Central California's political leaders are responding. Action News reporter Anna Torrea joins us at the live desk, where she has the reaction from both Republicans and Democrats.
Alec, local political leaders say what happened at that rally in Pennsylvania is heartbreaking. Both Central Californian Democrats and Republicans agree the attack on the former president is not something that should happen in our country. Secret Service agents rushed and swarmed to protect former President Donald Trump after gunshots went off during a rally in Pennsylvania. Behind him, terrified Trump supporters ducked. Once agents had secured the former president, his supporters chanted in the back. Ken Shockley, a security expert, praised the Secret Service for their quick action. He said that their first concern in a situation like this is to get those they are protecting to a secure location, even putting themselves in harm's way. It's about keeping the former president out of danger.
They weren't facing the audience to return fire. They turned their backs to the audience to where the threat would be, and they surrounded him with their own bodies and then got him out as soon as possible.
Local political leaders were shocked by Saturday's attempted assassination of the former president. They took to X to express their support for Trump as well as condemn the violence. Former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy said in part, "Today was an attack on President Trump and our nation as a whole." Action News spoke with Congressman John Duarte.
All political violence is harmful to our republic. And nothing is as severe as a presidential assassination or an attempted presidential assassination, but it all has to be condemned.
Former Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims met with Trump during his presidency. She says watching people get hurt at a rally and supporting their candidate is painful and a tragedy.
And as a former elected leader, you feel a responsibility to be accessible to those who support you and vote for you. And so this is our country's system where we get to hear directly from those that we elect to represent us.
She says that law enforcement's attention will now turn to answering the questions of why.
What motivation this person might have left clues about behind that will give people a reason why this happened and why he took these actions.
Fresno County Democrats also condemned Saturday's attack.
It doesn't matter which party you support. There should never be violence involved with this. Candidates should be able to express their beliefs.
Congressman Jim Costa also put out a statement tonight regarding the attempted assassination on the former president, saying that political violence has no place in our country and that his thoughts and prayers are with Trump and the victims who were killed. From the live desk, Anna Torreya, ABC 30 Action News.
Be sure to stay with Action News as we continue to follow this breaking story.